A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a pivotal moment for European solidarity and support for Ukraine, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has called upon European Union leaders to reach a crucial agreement during a fraught summit in Brussels. The discussions center around the contentious issue of utilizing frozen Russian assets to bolster Ukraine's war effort against ongoing Russian aggression. Zelenskyy, who participated in the Brussels summit, emphasized the moral imperative of the decision at hand, stating, "The decision now on the table, the decision to fully use Russian assets to defend against Russian aggression, is one of the clearest and most morally justified decisions that could ever be made." He warned that if the EU fails to act decisively, it would send a dangerous message to Russia and other aggressors that Europe can be defeated. The summit has seen EU leaders grappling with the complexities of reassuring Belgium, the country that holds the majority of these frozen assets, alongside other concerned nations about the legal and financial implications of such a move. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas expressed the urgency of the situation, stating, "We just can't afford to fail. We have to show that we are strong." The European Union perceives Russia's war against Ukraine as a direct threat to its own security and is determined to ensure that Ukraine remains financially supported in its fight. The stakes are high, as public finances across the EU are already strained, and the European Commission has proposed using the frozen assets of the Russian Central Bank, primarily held in a Belgian clearinghouse, to secure a substantial loan for Kiev. However, Belgium has raised concerns about the potential legal and financial risks, while other states, including Italy, have echoed similar worries. As leaders arrived at the summit, the imperative of finding a solution was palpable. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk underscored the gravity of the situation, stating, "Now we have a simple choice: either money today or blood tomorrow." Tusk later clarified that leaders had reached a consensus on pursuing a loan rather than exploring alternative options, although he acknowledged that numerous technical discussions lay ahead. Belgian Prime Minister Bart De Wever expressed his reservations in Parliament, stating he had yet to see guarantees addressing his concerns regarding legal and liquidity risks, indicating that financing plans were still evolving. On the other hand, Russia's central bank has denounced the EU's plans to utilize its assets as illegal, asserting its right to defend its interests through all available means. This week, it filed a lawsuit in Moscow seeking $230 billion US in damages from the Euroclear clearinghouse. The urgency of the situation cannot be overstated. Without EU financial assistance, Ukraine could exhaust its funds by the second quarter of next year, significantly jeopardizing its ability to continue the fight against Russia. Kallas assessed the likelihood of reaching an agreement on the use of the frozen assets at 50-50, while German Chancellor Friedrich Merz expressed optimism, stating, "My impression is that we can come to an agreement." The latest draft of the summit's conclusions, still subject to change, suggests that leaders will take a political decision to proceed with the reparation loan, delegating officials to urgently finalize the details. The draft also outlines a framework for sharing risks among EU states to alleviate concerns from Belgium and other nations. An alternative approach could involve the EU borrowing the required funds against the security of its budget and then lending the money to Ukraine. However, this would necessitate unanimous approval from all 27 EU member states, a hurdle given Hungary's stated intention to veto such a move. Consequently, diplomats have indicated that the utilization of Russian assets is essentially the only viable option on the table. To proceed with this plan, EU leaders must first convince Belgium, which currently holds €185 billion of the total €210 billion in frozen assets across Europe, that it will not bear the financial burden alone should Russia successfully pursue legal action in international courts regarding the proposed plan. As the summit unfolds, the eyes of Europe remain fixed on the outcome, with the potential to reshape the continent's response to aggression and redefine its commitment to supporting Ukraine in its time of need. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.